Brandon Culleton, Tinker Motorsports and Fab. Today, we are not working on
that or any of that or that. We're talking about that. Mama's Daily Driver. Doing a starter, 2014 Traverse LTZ. Let's get it. Got one Torx. That is a T20. So T20 for the Torx to get the panel off. 10 mil right there. Get off the negative battery cable. Now we got power isolated. We're good to go. All right, up top, I'm tying this together with an oil change. And that's the best way to do it because your oil filter would be sitting right down there in the way, just in the way of your motor mount nut. Right down in there, straight down. So a long extension. I took a bunch of stuff that I had laying around right there. Long extension, you can get right down through the top. Right down through here. Oil filter's already been removed. Take the nut off the top of your motor mount. Then we'll get this thing up in the air and I'll show you the bottom side. All right, so we're up in the air. That guy right there is the lower side of your mount right there. Actually bushing, if you want to call it that. Isolator, bushing, mount, whatever. This is the hard mount right there. So 18 millimeter socket, same thing on top where I just showed y'all I went from the top. So 18 millimeter socket on top, 18 millimeter socket on the bottom. 15 millimeter socket, 15 millimeter socket, and I left this one because I need to put a support underneath here. That way this is supported so that when this comes loose, I can snag out your mount, rubber mount, hard mount, and then that is going to let us get to the starter, which is up above. All right, so right down there, if you can see just to the left of where that motor mount bolt was and just to the right of the AC compressor, I've got a 6-inch extension, 3/8 drive, 6-inch extension, 15 millimeter socket. That is where the upper bolt is. Tried to get to it from underneath, forgot that it was there, and then lowered the car back down and realized, so it's pretty much right underneath the oil chute when you take the oil filter off. Like I said, to the left of the motor mount bolt, just to the right of the back side of the AC compressor, and that extension and socket is on that bolt right now. So that kind of tells you the location of it. You can see it from underneath if you hold your mouth right and get in just the right spot, but I think the best way to get it out is from up here. All right, so now you can see we've got our support jack underneath there holding the oil pan. The mount is out and the hard mount is out right there. And if you look up there, there's our starter. And I gotta run out because after I got, oh, so there's your hard mount. When it's out, it's like a little Tetris game trying to get it. Just be patient. You can. Not supposed to do that. So, gotta run out, get a motor mount, and yep. All right, just got back from the store. There's our new front motor mount. It's listed as front. There's a new starter, which we're not ready for yet. We've got our GM part number for the starter, 12645298. A job like this take you an hour and a half just to get to the starter. There's no reason not to put a GM back on it, my personal opinion. And the front motor mount, Napa 602-2722. So we're gonna go get the starter off, bring it back over here to the bench, transfer over this heat shield that covers the solenoid, get that swapped over, then get the new starter in, and then put this back together with the new motor mount. All right, so starter's out. 15mm socket here, 15mm socket here. On your 12-volt battery lead, I used 1/4 inch ratchet on a deep well 1/2 inch. So that is a brass nut on that thing. You want to make sure that you've got a good bite on it. The oil dipstick tube runs right down and through here. You also have to take loose a knock sensor. That's a 13mm socket. And your solenoid wire right there coming off your key. That thing is difficult to get to. So what I did was take off your battery hot right there, take out your 2 fasteners, lower it down carefully. There's enough room on the wire to where you can actually get to the bottom of that solenoid wire clip to take it out there. It was a big fight. You actually have to pinch it up from the back right there. Yeah, the wire is long enough. It's easier just to drop it down supported. Don't let it hang off that wire, but snake it down out of there, and then you can get your eyes on this, pinch that up. Made it a lot easier. All right, time to put it back together. All right, so you can see there I've got the heat shield transferred over to the new starter. And if you look up underneath here, you can see that's what's going on there. So that's where that thing was living. Right there. And you've got right here is where that knock sensor lives. It's going to block the starter from coming out, so take out the knock sensor. That is this wire right here. Unclip it, slide it out, 13mm bolt, 13mm head. And that guy right there is your starter solenoid from the key, and that's that little clip right there, the gray one that I was telling you about. And you can see it's long enough, so when you put it back in, get the starter back up in there, set that clip, land the starter, get your 15mm headed bolts in, get those tight, and then right up there I've got tucked away. That's why you always disconnect that battery, guys, because that thing is hot all the time and it's gonna rain some sparks on you if you don't. So that's the starter lead, your battery lead up there chilling out. So time to reassemble. All right, new starter is in. See the brass nut all the way on the top on your battery lead. Hiding up there is your solenoid wire, right up there in the orange. And I was wrong, guys, before I pointed down here for that knock sensor. It's not, it's the one right there, which you have to remove to give you room to get the starter back. That is a 13mm socket up there on the solenoid. Just be careful there, that orange safety lock for your solenoid wire, it is always in the way. And when you go to tighten your knock sensor back down, you got to be real careful and make sure that that orange safety clip is not behind it, getting pinched in between the block and the center itself. Keep a close eye out for that. So starter's in, double checked everything. Not a place you want to have to get back to because you missed it. So double check, triple check, make sure you're happy with it. And on to the rest of putting it back together. All right, all back together on the bottom side. Right here, if you look right there, just to the left of the nut on the lower side of the motor mount, you'll see an alignment pin right there. So when you drop that thing in, when you snake out the hard mount and your rubber mount all up in there, make sure that you clock that thing to line that alignment tang up. If you don't, it's going to fight you and you're going to tighten up in the wrong position. It's going to be all out of whack. Also, make sure that you replace your boot. That rubber, that rubber boot right there, make sure you replace that. That's up there during oil changes when oil drips down. It doesn't, or it tries to minimize oil going in this thing and eating it up. But that's what happened with mine, because when I took it out and rotated around, oil was dripping out of it. So it is what it is. So now I'm gonna go ahead and drain the oil out of the pan,
since I'm doing a change with this at the same time, because taking the filter off made this easier. While I'm under here, gonna go ahead and drain the oil. Get the plug back in it, lower it down. Get that top bolt for the hard mount, the one up top right underneath the oil filter. Get that back in. Fresh filter, oil, and we'll be good. All right, so there we go. All back together, topped off with fresh lubricant. You see the filter down in there. Underneath that is the motor mount bolt. Underneath that is the upper bolt for the aluminum, the rigid motor mount. That's why I was saying, you know, you're gonna need to pull that filter. That is the easiest way to do it by far. And I was kind of curious what was gonna happen when I went to put that bolt in that you can't see, and nailed it first shot. I just put it on the end of the socket on the extension, and then kind of held my tongue right, moved that thing around in there, found the hole. Anyway, right in. So, done deal. Got a good start on it. Everything seems good. Hope this video helps y'all. All right, everybody. Hope y'all enjoyed that. Hopefully it helped somebody out at one point or another. Starter replacement, which turned into starter and front motor mount replacement on 2014 Traverse LTZ. If it didn't have to run out, I think that job probably took 2.5 hours. I could probably do it in about an hour and a half now that I've got everything figured out, know what to do, and have the tools and everything out. So hopefully that helped somebody. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Like, click, subscribe, ring the bell, do all that stuff. You know how it goes, what you're supposed to do. Ticker Motorsports and Fab, I'm Brandon. See y'all next time.